When you think of Halloween, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it the costumes? The candy? Maybe a good scary movie? For most of us, Halloween is this perfect family-friendly holiday. The trick in Trick or Treat is just a playful threat, a punchline. But what if I told you that for centuries, the trick wasn't a joke at all? It was a very, very real and very serious part of the holiday, and its history is darker and more rebellious than you can imagine. To understand the trick, we have to go back to the very beginning, to an ancient Celtic festival called Samhain, celebrated every November 1st. The Celts who lived in what is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France believed this night was a liminal space, a time when the veil between our world and the spirit world was at its thinnest. This meant spirits, both good and bad, could roam free. And that was a terrifying thought. So, what did they do to protect themselves? Well, they created the first Halloween costume. People would wear disguises, a practice called guising, to fool the spirits, hoping to blend in or scare them away. But the trick wasn't just about deception, it was all about a transaction. The Celts would leave out food for the spirits, believing that if they didn't, bad luck would fall on their homes. This ancient ritual of appeasement is the first version of trick or treat. Give us a treat, or a very real supernatural trick will descend on your house. This tradition evolved over centuries. With the rise of Christianity, it became souling, where poor people, often children, would go door to door collecting soul cakes in exchange for prayers for the dead. This was a formal exchange, a treat for a service. But the mischievous, unpredictable side of the holiday never really went away. When Irish and Scottish immigrants brought these traditions to America, they took on a new life. In the small rural communities of the 18th and 19th centuries, Halloween pranks were seen as a fun way for young men to blow off steam. They were often harmless pranks. Kids would upset swill barrels, soap windows, or put a rocking chair on a rooftop. And the adults? They'd often just be amused by the whole thing. But as America industrialized and people moved into crowded cities, the holiday spirit of mischief became something far more dangerous. Cities were full of, big city problems like poverty and unemployment. And Halloween became a destructive outlet for frustration. The pranks escalated from soaping windows to pulling fire alarms, smashing shop windows, and even throwing bricks. This wasn't harmless fun anymore. It was a national problem. And that brings us to the breaking point. Halloween of 1933. At the height of the Great Depression, the vandalism reached a fever pitch. The chaos was so widespread that newspapers began calling the night Black Halloween, a name that directly paralleled the Black Tuesday stock market crash of 1929. The name itself framed the issue not as a few bad kids, but as a national crisis, a symptom of a crashing society. Across the country, hundreds of teenagers sawed off telephone poles, flipped over cars, and engaged in widespread vandalism. It was a night of total anarchy. The public was outraged, and some cities actually considered banning the holiday altogether. But instead of fighting the tradition, community leaders came up with a brilliant idea. They decided to co-opt it. Instead of a total ban, communities began to buy these kids off with organized, supervised events. Civic and religious groups, neighborhood families, and community organizations started hosting house-to-house parties, parades, and even the first haunted houses, all with one goal in mind: to keep restless kids busy and off the streets. In this new organized format, the treat became a strategic bribe to prevent the trick from ever happening. This pivot was slow but deliberate. Media and commerce played a huge role. Magazine articles first introduced the idea of trick or treat to a national audience. Then, radio shows and a now classic 1952 Donald Duck cartoon solidified the new kid-friendly version of the holiday in the minds of millions. Corporations soon caught on, seeing the immense profit potential in candy and costumes. By 1965, Halloween candy and costume sales hit $300 million. And the final nail in the coffin for the old ways? World War II. During the war, a school superintendent wrote that soaping windows isn't fun this year. Your government needs soaps and greases for the war. A newspaper cartoon even showed Axis leaders encouraging a boy to commit pranks, explicitly linking vandalism to unpatriotic behavior. This powerful propaganda effectively shamed the trick out of the holiday. Now, the mischievous spirit of Halloween never truly disappeared. Today, we have regional traditions like Mischief Night or Devil's Night, which are direct echoes of the old ways. The most infamous example is Detroit's Devil's Night, which became synonymous with widespread arson and vandalism in the 1980s and 90s. The city's response to this modern-day Halloween problem was a direct parallel to 1933. They created Angel's Night.
Because of the destruction caused by a few on Devil's Night, the rhythm and heartbeat of a great city gets slowed down.
You have to have some place to live. It's pitiful. We got to start doing something about it now.
On October 30th, get mad. Help us stop Devil's Night arson. For one day, Wednesday, October 30th, for 6 hours, you can help stop Devil's Night fires in your neighborhood. To volunteer, call 224-3450. Get mad. Get involved. Stop Devil's Night arson.
Thousands of volunteers patrolled the streets to prevent fires, proving once again that when the trick gets out of control, community and organization are the most effective way to tame it. So, next time you hear trick or treat, remember its unruly past. What we see today as a simple, fun holiday is actually the product of a century-long struggle. It's a story of social engineering, of a wild, anarchic tradition being domesticated and rebranded to become the fun, family-friendly event we know today. Thank you for joining me. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more fun history tales. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!